Willie, Nanaia Mahuta said early on in the campaign she wanted to see te reo Maori made compulsory. There's been a bit of a silence since then. Is it going to be a political hot potato, do you think? No,
it's not, because it's not going to be compulsory. She just said that because there were enough Maori there who sort of, you know, we know this, you know, she was passionate and she was on a roll, and maybe she didn't think the cameras were watching her, but she said those things and then she quickly backtracked. Won't be a political hot potato because the big parties won't advocate it.
OK, so let's have a look at the toe now at the leaders' debate on Friday night. What did you make of it?
Oh, I just thought it was pretty boring, actually.
Did you?
I mean, Winston is Winston, and when you're in a group with Winston, Winston's going to shine. Doesn't matter who's on there. It could be Barack Obama, but Winston's going to shine because he's the consummate. He's the consummate Maori politician. Knows which buttons to push. Knows how to slap down Colin Craig. Although Colin Craig got him a couple of good ones, and that. You know, I just think that it's this campaign. If you take away dirty politics, boy, it'd be a long 4 weeks.
Well, this is interesting because, you know, this morning Rodney Hyde said this was meant to be a very boring election, but it's turned out to be one of the wildest yet. Yeah. How did this all come about? I mean, we know dirty politics is at play, but it's really captured imagination, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think it has. It has captured imagination, but at the same time, it's kind of people are almost over it as well in some ways, you know. And I think, you know, over the last week, you know, the Prime Minister managed to seize the ground back in some ways. It's kind of died a death. It's death. People were more focused on the fact that David Cunliffe wasn't able to rebut the Minister's attack on his on Labour's capital gains policy, you know. So
on his own policy that he wrote.
Own policy. So, yeah, why is it?
Well, the amazing thing is that Labour hasn't picked up on this. So the votes are going towards Winston. And are they going to go to Colin Craig? I'm not sure. You know, he's really
blocked building in confidence.
Yes, he is. But I'm thinking coming into the last week,
he's even smiling.
If he doesn't, but I'm thinking coming into the last week, if he doesn't get past 3, people might think, oh, this might be a waste of time voting for this fella, and the votes go towards Winston, and maybe Labour will pick some of them up. Because this is the amazing thing is, whilst National look like we're going to get a big hit, they're still around that 48 to 50%.
I think the dirty politics. What dirty politics did was steal the core Labour vote. It steal the core National vote. And I think the Prime Minister was just waiting for it to die its natural death, because a thing like that cannot run for 4 weeks, you know. And even Whale Dump has you know, he's hung up as sort of, you know. And I mean, look, at the end of the day, this next 2 weeks will be about policy, will be about how strong Cunliffe and Key are against each other.
Everybody's been waiting for that moment. When are we going to be talking policy?
But we've had this is unprecedented stuff we've been watching here. You know, like everybody's arguing, is it in the public good to hear old Cam and see all the email? We've never seen anything like this. Yeah, and so we've got judges now saying, well, some of those emails from Whale, you know, the public have a right to look at this stuff. But it's just incredible, because what we have here is a question of integrity in terms of the government, but they've wrote it out.
It has effectively brought down it's brought down a senior minister with Judith Collins going down, right? So that is significant in terms of New Zealand political history. I mean, she's resigned so the investigation can take place, but nevertheless, and nothing's been proved one way or the other. But it's still significant.
What do you make of the moves by Cam Slater to say, look, journalists should not be able to publish any more of my emails?
You can't blame.
It's hypocritical of it's hypocritical of Cam on one hand to toddle off to the High Court and say, please don't let them put out this hacked, stolen material. But he operates on stuff that's given to him.
But I wonder what happens if the decision is made that it should be continued to be allowed in the in public interest. You know, what does it mean for the rest of us?
Well, I mean, we've never seen, no one talks like Cameron Slater, you see, about people, and it's fascinating to watch and to look back over the years and look at this relationship he looks like he had with the ministers. So the judges are taking this all into account. This is unprecedented stuff, and is it in the public interest for us to see it? You can't blame him for trying to stop it.
I think there's actually a more of an important point here. Last week we had the release of the nude photos, you know, from some movie stars. Scotty wasn't in them.
Thank goodness we didn't.
But what you got is there's a whole issue of privacy.
Yeah.
You know, and that's Cam's privacy, that's the actor's privacy, that's yours and mine, my privacy, and I think that's an underlying issue that is going to roll on. And I tell you what, there's no security in the cloud.
And it's bigger than that as well. There are two things. I mean, like the fourth estate is viewed as an integral part of our system, right? And the ability to comment on democracy. With the leaks, like with blogging and the lessening of control over the freedom for anybody to comment, it has an impact on the way that people perceive the system, right? So it leads to in some ways, and I think what this has done is it's led to it's shone a light on whether on our trust of the system. It's shone a light on whether are there people behind the scenes pulling strings? People have always, the conspiracy theorists have always said that this sort of stuff exists. It's shone a light on it and shown that, well, actually there's probably some truth to that. And what does that do, right? That contributes to a lessening of people's faith in the system and could potentially act against the interests of democracy in terms of putting people off wanting to participate,
OK, we do have to wrap very soon, but the voting has started and it's looking pretty promising, triple the number of the last election. What level of participation are we expecting in the Maori seats, Willie?
Well, I mean, the funny thing was a few years back when we had Sharples up against Tamahere, right? Two of the most high-profile Maori you'd ever get. And it was the lowest turnout in the country in history. It was incredible. So one would hope that with all this dirty politics going on, internet mana being involved, now this is a big test for them because they're saying, I mean, their vote is very dependent on the youth vote.
So the level of participation...
I would expect it to go up, and certainly for their sake, they'd hope it would go up.
OK, we have to leave it there. Thanks.